What a mess. My goodness. What a mess.
Hey everybody, I'm here in France with my family on the family vacation. It's August 20 and we still don't know if it's possible to go to Winnipeg this November due to the COVID situation, but I definitely feel like I have to prepare for it. So I took my little bow with me for the family vacation. It's a very interesting bow. The car was already pretty much packed from all the family stuff we needed, so I didn't bring my hunting bow. Instead of that, I brought a little bow I bought a year ago. It's I show you in total here. It's called a triangle bow, and it's produced in China. And after a few hours of investment into the setup of the bow, it shoots quite well. But as you can see, it's very short, has no stabilization, and therefore you have to be like in perfect shooting style if you want to hit something with it. So this is really cool stuff to get prepared for hunting, because if you can shoot that bow well, then you can also handle like a 70-pound bow tag insanity I shoot for hunting. So let's have some fun. Here in this beautiful park, situated about 40-45 minutes from the battlefield of Verdun, and it's about the perfect place to fool around with the bow. In case you wonder why a guy from Germany is so keen on bow hunting in the US and in Canada, we have to go back in time into the early 1990s. I would like to introduce you to John.
What are you, videoing me?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be like this.
John is a Vietnam veteran, an old friend of mine, and an extremely accomplished bow hunter. He arrowed hundreds of deer during the past 50 years and is one of the few people around who is able to sneak in so close on a deer that he can almost stab it with a knocked arrow. I met him back in the early 1990s when I worked for a German company in the States. I had just bought my first compound bow in a sporting goods store and honestly had no idea how to use it or even how to tune it. Although I was used to shoot primitive self-made bows since I was in elementary school. I don't know whether he just felt sorry for me, a long way from home and away from my family and friends, or if he saw some kind of archery talent in me. He took me under his wing and taught me how to shoot with my compound. I was instantly hooked on bow hunting as well, seeing what he was able to accomplish. We also did spend quite some time fishing for lakers, for trout and stripers. I especially remember one incident when we were out bow fishing for carp. After a shot into the muddy river, I retrieved something heavy, which revealed itself as a brick. "I can't believe this guy shot a brick!" was John's reaction. It was so funny and we laughed so hard that we had to sit down. Back in Germany, I only had the time and money to visit John every 2 to 3 years for a week of bow hunting. For me, these visits were the highlights of my outdoor career. John was there when I shot my first doe and my first buck back in 1997. He showed me how to track and field dress my deer and celebrate it with me. He was there for me when I mentally had to go through hell and back after wounding a buck which we tracked for hours and couldn't find, and which caused me to stop all my archery activities for 3 years. I can't thank John enough for sharing his knowledge on deer behavior and all the little bits and pieces that at the end make the difference between great time spent in the woods or the emotional explosion of a successful deer hunt. Throughout the years, our relationship changed. I gathered deep insights into compound and arrow tuning through competition archery back home, and I tried to pick up every knowledge available to become a better bow hunter. Now, our discussions are more on eye level, but no theoretical wisdom can beat decades of experience. Almost every time, when I visited John in early November, he managed it to shoot himself a Veterans Day buck, like most of the bucks you can see on the photos. The old hunter did it again.
That's not one. He's an older bugger too. Got a big old paws on him.
That's absolutely unreal. Yeah, and look at the nice spots here. This is unreal. John, I hope you will be able to continue your Veterans Day tradition for many years to come. Thank you. This is my Bowtech Insanity set at 70 pounds. I like it a lot because it's extremely powerful and suitable for real big game. The downside is that it's quite hard to shoot because of the short valley and the draw cycle. It feels absolutely insane. As you can see, for a hunting setup, the groups are quite tight at 50 meters. Hi, I'm standing here at the steepest part of our archery range and I'm just shooting 15 meters and I have to use like the 10 meters reading in my scope, so this is quite steep here. So this is the result of a 15-meter shot at almost 40-degree angle down. The upper arrow was shot with 12 meters. The lower arrows that are in the bullseye were shot with 10 meters reading. My arrows weighed 36.2 gram, which is about 560 grain, quite heavy. Talking about hunting arrows, I usually use fixed blade broadheads, because over the years I experienced some fails of mechanicals. But I also acknowledge the advantage of large cutting diameters of the mechanicals. So I took the best, in my opinion, out of two worlds by using the slash inset blade system together with the reliable thunderheads. As a result, I blow through bone as if it wouldn't exist, and the mechanical blades open inside after passing the ribs without losing significant force, creating a very large wound channel. The only problem that comes with fixed blades is that the arrows need to spin perfectly for a good arrow flight. For this reason, I built a custom arrow spinning tool I take with me on my hunting trips and check each arrow after attaching the broadhead. For practicing, I put an aluminum ring over the mechanical blades to avoid them to open. I also put some, in this case white tape, over the blade openings to prevent them to fill up with target debris. For hunting, I use the rubber ring that comes with the arrows to secure the blades in flight. The Insanity launches my arrows with an average of about 257 feet per second, which is 78.3 meters per second. This seems to be slow, but it creates an enormous hitting power of a momentum of 2.83 Newton seconds, which is 0.636 slug foot per second. This compares to a 38 special or a regular compound crossbow rated at about 375 feet per second. For those who still use the kinetic energy as a measure, although the kinetic energy includes much more than the simple hitting power that really counts, I also calculated the kinetic energy of the arrow, which is 111 joule or 81.9 foot-pounds. Knowing of the steering power of fixed blades on arrows, as well as of the little differences in arrow building, I checked each and every of my arrows for their individual groups at 20 and 30 meters distance. After knowing the individual characteristics of my arrows, I practiced intensely with different targets at different angles and distances.
So, October 15th, final day of preparation. Behind me you see my last arrow before I fly to Canada, to Winnipeg. 17 meters from 5 meters down. So I'm okay. I have an arrow, it's the E arrow that went perfectly from about 17 meters up to 42, and that's fine for me. That's exactly what it's supposed to. It's about 5 degrees centigrade today, so nice and cool morning. I'm ready to go. The bow's ready, everybody's ready, and I think the target deer is happy that I'm done with the testing. So, thumbs up for Canada.
I was situated with the tree stand in a poplar forest, and this was really amazing because on my right hand side, where the sun hit the trees, they were all really bright white, and the bark on the other side, if I look to my left, was really dark and gray, and with the blue skies, this is a picture in my head I will never forget. It was such a beautiful day out there. It was absolutely quiet, and then all of a sudden you could hear the leaves rustling a little bit. It was like a wave. The noise came towards me, came on top of me, and ended up in my back. So this was really an experience. I had squirrels jumping all over the place and sitting in bushes with twigs that hardly could hold their weight. So this was quite funny to watch them. day 2. It was Tuesday. Around midday, I all of a sudden heard a noise to my left, and I tried to find out what made this noise. But the area in there is so thick you couldn't see a thing. So I stared into the direction of the noise, and all of a sudden I saw a doe approaching, and she came from behind my left shoulder and was about to walk past by me in about 50 meters distance in the middle of the real heavy stuff. Shortly after that, I noticed that she was not alone and she had a buck behind her. And when I saw that buck, I just saw some heavy-bodied deer, and then I saw the tips of the antlers, and I knew, whoa, this is a good buck. This is a shooter. I got up really slowly, grabbed my bow, and got myself prepared. But then I noticed that they would pass my stand on 50 yards distance, and I would have no chance to get a shot at them. So what I did was I grabbed my grunt call from the backpack, and I gave the buck just one single soft grunt. And boy, he reacted. He made 90 degrees. He came at a considerable speed. He came down to a trail that's maybe 12, 14 meters to my left, and just would pass my stand. And where he would come out was like 25 meters in front of me in a shooting lane. So this was like a very good position. I would have a bordering away shot. So I dialed in the bow at 25 meters, and he did exactly what I thought, but he was so quick I couldn't stop him. So he walked away from me, and I was like, oh. 5 meters later, he turned to the right, made another 90 degrees, and he was just about to walk into a maybe 3 meter wide shooting lane. This would have been my last chance, because after that it's just big bushes. And the buck stepped into the opening with the first step. I drew back my bow. I was already in position. I had no chance to dial in the bow again, so it was still dialed in at 25. I was sure I could compensate that with his second step. The pin was already on his shoulder, level set, everything perfect. And at his first step, the arrow was on the way. So the buck spun around, did a 180, ran back right where he came from, and I think it was 2 seconds after, so he stopped. Then he started to run again, ran maybe a second further, crushed, and then it was all silent. All silent again.
What a mess.